G'day folks, welcome to episode 20 of the B Graders. Matt Pointer, Matt Tognini with you again, and it's all things Tour de France this week, mate.
Mate, it is the biggest month in cycling in the year. Not necessarily my favourite month, but it is the biggest.
You do like a Giro d'Italia.
I do like a Giro d'Italia, there's no doubt about that. But it has been relatively exciting.
It has been, and the rain helped out, like we haven't seen a prologue like that.
Wetter than an otter's pocket, I tell you.
There you go. I know how wet an otter's pocket are.
It'd be pretty bloody wet. You just saw some of the crashes. Firstly, our mate, Luke Durbridge
hit the deck so hard the barriers couldn't handle it.
And there's a picture of his shoe snapped in half. You'll see it. Maybe we'll put it up. But jeepers, he must have hit hard. No wonder he couldn't get through the next day.
Well, he got up front. He got straight back up, straight back on the bike, rode to the finish. Next day. Now, if any of you have seen the backstage pass footage of Matt White talking to the doctor and then talking to Durbo on the phone, you'll just see what it takes to be this type of athlete. His tendon kept on popping out every time he pedalled, and he just kept pushing it back in until such time as the doctor said, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that kid would have gone to the finish.
He would have, and, we know he's tough. We know that he has a pretty high pain threshold, but that's amazing. Then you saw the footage of young Paddy Bevan, Kiwi boy, riding for Cannondale Drapac. He must have hit the barriers at 60k an hour. He was sliding, the road wasn't slowing him down. Yep. The only thing that slowed him down was the barrier. Straight back up, new bike, finished, still going.
And of course the big boy who missed out in the prologue, Alejandro Valverde, he's gone, it's over,
Mate,
off to hospital.
That could be career at his age, 38, broken kneecap.
I'd say he'll do just enough to come back to sort of go well enough to say I came back, and then that'll be the end of him for next year, which is very sad.
That probably, people are saying, well, that's good for Quintana because he doesn't have a rival in his own team. I reckon it's bad for Quintana. He doesn't have that joker to play off, and Quintana's probably, thanking his lucky stars he didn't fall off. A bit like Richie.
He went a little bit too slow on the prologue for my liking. I think he could have tried a little bit harder. But well done to Geraint Thomas, dual Olympic gold medalist. He's Welsh. And
we won't hold that against him.
It's good to be Welsh. And he's now a yellow jersey. And as we go to print tonight, before the stage finishes tonight, he's still in the yellow jersey. First few stages, Kittel, no surprise. Peter Sagan did it with one leg. He
did.
And of course, Michael Matthews
probably left it a touch late.
Yeah, he left it about a day late. Just a day late.
It shows he's got form. Richie sort of showed he's still in fairly good nick, having the big attack.
Is he in good nick, do you reckon, or was that a searching attack? Was he searching to see if it was anything?
I reckon the only reason he didn't sort of pull it off was because Sagan decided he really wanted to win it.
Oh, Sagan wanted to win it. There's no two ways about it.
So, Sagan decides he doesn't want to win it. No one moves, and that's Richie away.
But they're all there. Dan Martin was there. Gilbert was there. Van Avermaet.
How bad is the dental work on Dan Martin? Jeebus, screw. You would have thought with a man earning that much money, he'd be able to get to a dentist.
That's what happens when you eat potatoes.
Potato.
The other guy who was there was Arnaud Demar, the French road champion. Everyone said he won't get up the hill. He'll be like Bassani and all those guys. But no, he was up in 6th place. So possible another contender for the green jersey to go up against Sagan, maybe.
There's probably 3 in that, and the other 2, Matthews and Demar, are a distant 2nd and 3rd.
They are a distant. Something's going to have to go wrong with Sagan. If you pull your foot at 300 or 200 metres and then click it back in and go again, what's everyone else looking for?
But mate, the tour is not the only Grand Tour at the moment. The Giro Rosa is on.
Yep.
The Giro Rosa is on, and
basically the women's tour of Italy.
Yes, it is. It's about a 10-day stage. Our friend Jessie Allen, she was supposed to be riding it. She's recovering well from the broken shoulder. She's cheering her teammates on. And Annemiek van Vleuten, she won a stage. She won, I think, the 2nd or the 3rd stage. Won it well. Overnight, the Aussie girl, Chloe Hoskins, from Ali Cipollini, was beaten by a bee's genitalia in the sprint. She got beaten by some pro, don't know who she is. I don't really know a lot of female pro cyclists, but it was a good sprint. I saw the highlights, and Chloe Hoskin, very strong, very unlucky.
Jolene Dora won a stage in the Belgian Champions jersey as well. So, there's now starting, the big thing about women's cycling is it's getting more coverage. So we're starting to hear the names and become more familiar with the names.
It's really
the same
exciting
way
to
we
watch.
do in the Pro Tour bunch. Like, as where before, they didn't have as much coverage on YouTube and also on just social media pages. So you'd hear, we always hear about Voss and we'd always hear about this person or that person. Now we're starting to find out the names of the entire bunch because the information is out there and it gets fed to us rather than having to go look for it, which is going to help the
And I've
sport.
watched a number of the races. They're really good to watch. These girls are as hard as the blokes. They get up when they fall.
Yeah.
They keep going. It's really good racing to
And they
watch.
do it for about 5% of the same money.
If that.
If
And
that.
sometimes more exciting because their stage is around 80 to 120k.
So
So
they
they're
race
over
the
pretty
whole
quick
way.
and they go from the gun.
I'll tell you one thing about the Tour de France last night, during the Sagan stage. There was a couple of times there that the bunch said, we're not going to catch the break. They pulled the brake back to like a minute and they all went across the road and they stopped and the brake went out until one point it went back to 1 minute, then went out to 4 minutes again.
Saw that, yep.
Now,
Aussie's own Adam Hansen.
we're bike riders and we know bike riding and blah, 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 but to anyone coming to the sport new, to anyone watching cycling for the first time, they would be scratching their heads. That resembled triathlon of old. Once upon a time, the male triathletes would be rolling along around 36, 37k an hour, trying to keep themselves fresh for the run, and it looked terrible. And then one or two of the triathlon men found out, hey, I can go as fast as I do on a normal bike ride and it totally changed the sport. I tell you what, I think the Tour de France might be better to drop away the 2 rest days and just put the stages, maybe take 50k off each stage and get them to race.
I think, if you've got a long transfer, maybe you need a rest day, and I think mandated now that they have to have rest days, but I have no doubt that shorter stages make for more exciting racing, and there is a stage, can't remember what number, it might be 13, it's 101k.
That's right. Yeah.
It's got 11 million metres of climbing. It's going to be an absolute cracker, and the best part about it, it'll be over early.
And the thing is, tonight,
Go to bed, have a sleep, catch up.
Tuesday night, it's another long stage tonight. They reckon it's a flat sprinter stage, but they are talking about the crosswinds. So the inclement weather that's happened in parts of Belgium and Luxembourg and Germany so far, maybe it'll go across the border into France. Possibly, possibly not, but they're talking about the crosswinds being the big thing
Well,
tonight.
they are
but
back
it should
basically
be a sprinter stage.
back in France now, so the cheese and the wine are flowing. There's dogs on the road.
Yep.
All the normal things that we expect for the Tour de France. It's business as usual, and I must say, very happy with the new commentary team on SBS.
You enjoying it?
I do like a bit of Robbie, a little bit of Matt, a little bit of Robbie.
Mate, there's other Aussies abroad. Big well done to Stevie Hall. He won the Madison Cup in Trexler Town during the week. Great to see Stevie going so well in America. And Scott Sunderland. I think we might have talked about him last week, winning the prologue of one of the tours that he's out there riding. I think it's Tour of Hungary. He won the prologue, 1 kilometre prologue in 1:02 seconds. So
Could have won a track world title with that.
And then he won another stage and took the green jersey, as far as we know, for
Done very,
ISO
very
Waste
well
Swiss. And Michael Freeberg going nicely, having a bit of a race in Belgium still.
Yeah, he did a big cobbled semi-classic the other day, double punctured. I think he still finished, but it was not ideal for him. But he's having a good time. Tells me that it's really in love with the cobbles. He just loves the cobbles. But he is a big lad, so maybe he should.
Should be. And well done to our WNT girls. They had a very successful national championships over the Euro weekend. Silver medals, bronze medals, national championships. And Hayley Jones, saw a picture of Hayley Jones racing an international track meet in Dublin on an outdoor track, something we don't see too much of these days. So she's obviously coming back to her best very, very quickly
And
indeed.
they're all on a plane to Munich to race a 7-day women's tour that starts in a couple of days, the WNT girls. Obviously not quite at the level to ride the Giro Rosa, but they're doing the next level down, and they will do well.
Locally, at the weekend, we had atrocious weather, if anyone was in WA. Saturday afternoon didn't stop Peel District's volunteers from standing on corners, and they had the President's Cup, and young Jordan Dawson was the winner of the President's Cup.
Man with the best mullet in the bunch.
Certainly getting that way. And Shannon Syme, blast from the past, ran second in the kick, and young Ollie Bledden ran third, so well done to them. Liam McGowan, who runs it all down there with the help of his other club members down there. Don't want to make it sound like he does everything.
Well, he probably does. He'd like to tell you he does.
He probably does. He's that sort of guy. No, we're joking.
Okay,
But Liam messages to say they've got a race coming up at Baldivis on the 22nd of July, and they've also got one at Serpentine on the 29th. Not too much this month from a Cycle Sport WA perspective. Everyone's having a bit of a break, but the club racing still goes on. West Coast Masters were at Chidlow the other day. That's one of the hardest courses out there. No real surprise about the winner. World Road Champion Sam Smith was the winner. This week, the Masters are off to Dog Hill Baldivis. And of course, the one thing that's missing at Dog Hill,
The hill.
The hill. There's no
Now,
hill.
this week we've also got the Winters in the Park for the Atta people down at Champion Lakes. You'll see me there. You might even see Big Adam having a run around on his TT bike. We had the cyclocross on the weekend up at Edgewater Quarry.
Anyone race?
Yeah, I raced. Well, I participated. You can't really call what I did racing. First ever cyclocross race. Went in cold. Hardly ever ridden my cyclocross bike. Squashed my testicles jumping off and on. It was fantastic.
That would have been accurate.
It was very accurate. It was a great day. The course was really good. I did better than I thought I would. I didn't come last, which was a
Did you
positive.
ride through the sand or did you walk?
Couldn't ride through the sand. Fell off almost through the sand. Came to a grinding halt. But everything else I rode. Had to run up the hill once because I buggered the corner up.
Did you?
Yeah, skills level 0 for me.
Maybe you just need to go training with the Lendrum kids.
I think the Lendrum kids,
Go training with them. They'll teach you.
they'd teach me and tear me up. There's no doubt about it. A lot of people there watching. Great atmosphere. Everyone's cheering everyone on. Cowbells, horns, the whole lot.
Did you get a beer?
No, they weren't handing beer out. I was bitterly disappointed.
Fake CX race.
Bitterly. No, they're handing them out for later races. They didn't, because I was off, kicking the dew off the grass really early in Masters C grade, along with my mate Troy Coulthard and a few others. But we had a good time. And the Peanut, Guy Kelmer, won the main race. He is fairly talented, that kid. He hasn't got 2 neurons to rub together, but can ride a bike. And that we sort of, I wouldn't say we love you, Peanut, but we tolerate you.
What else we got going on?
Well, I think that's pretty much it for this week, Matt. It is wet, it is cold.
Actually, we should say it's not about Guy Kelmer, because we're having a beer with him last Friday night, and Guy Kelmer was very upset that we didn't do a big song and dance about him winning the Leaderville Criterium earlier this year. I said we mentioned it, that he'd won it, and we mentioned that Rebecca Mackey won the women's race. Rebecca Mackey didn't get in contact with us and whinge about not being mentioned, but Guy Kelmer privately said to me he was a bit disappointed he didn't get so much of a beat up. So,
bit of an old woman is Guy.
Here's a photo of Guy winning the Leaderville Criterium. Guy Kelmer won the Leaderville Criterium earlier in the year, ladies and gentlemen.
Months ago.
He ran second the other week at Pickering Brook, couldn't win that, and now he's just come out and won the CX race. But we're big fans of Guy Kelmer.
Just
that name again.
Guy Kelmer. Don't lend him any of your gear because he'll probably break it or lose it.
He won't sell it. He's not that sort of kid.
No, not that sort of kid.
You won't get it back. He'll forget where he put it.
That's it. He is from Albany. He has promised me a bottle of Lime Burners whiskey for years and years and years, and still haven't got one. Matt1 at iinet.com. Not .com. Who's writing that? Matt1 at iinet.net.au.
Is it .net?
It's been .net for 20 episodes.
Who wrote that?
Did
we get an email this week?
We had
got
one.
A few, actually.
Got 1 or 2. All really good. No socks this week, though, because none were sock worthy. We got to go and find another sock worthy. We got to go and find another sock sponsor because we're out of socks. But we'll find some more socks to give out, and more feedback, the better.
Bob, we've actually given you socks to another pair of socks to Adam because he wore your other socks.
He wore your others. Yeah, he's a thief. He is a tea leaf. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us this week. We've enjoyed it. See you next week for episode 21.